Okay, this is the place. Hopefully, because I just had to navigate across the wetlands out there where the old trail is flooded. I have figured out a history mystery, and we're gonna go looking for one out here. I'll tell you as we make some distance. A few years back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was out with the guys up in the hills of New Hampshire, way up. And we were out behind, actually way up on a hill, this old, definitely colonial farm, probably, you know, occupied up into the late 1800s. And we came across a shape in the earth. And here is a rough drawing of the shape. And it was large. And Dame said, it looks like a racetrack. It does, but it's obviously old by the trees coming out of the ground, this and that. It happened a long time ago. And it was, you know, probably 16, 20 feet wide and big. We walked all around it. Had no clue. Well, over the course of the last several years, I have come across 4 more of them. 3 of them I've physically been out to. This one I have not. Again, being the time of the year, I had to drop 1,000 feet in elevation, come down here to where there's very little snow, which is nice, and go looking for one of these things. Whoa. And I'll tell you what it is. So let me get out there. It might be quite a distance, actually. It is going to be a lot further than I expected, but at least I'm not walking through 6 inches of snow like last time. All right, let me arrive, and that's where we will continue with the video. I found it, and fortunately, we enter on one of the ends where it turns and loops. And what it is a horse trotting track. And I guess it was a popular thing to have and do in the late 1800s. And this one we're at actually had races. It saw a lot of action in the 1890s, I guess. And as you can see by the soft shoulders, you can tell it's old, which obviously it is. And it looks pretty much identical to the ones we have found and seen before. You know, like the trail we were walking in on, which is not this, but you come upon it and you just think it's a trail till you start walking and realize you're going in a circle, and then you can clearly tell it's different. So this is supposed to be a half of a mile around, and the other ones definitely were not that large. And again, they were always up at the tail ends of these old deserted farms, so they must have been for horses and where people ran them. Who knows, maybe they trained for stuff like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk around this and look around this. So Damien was right. It looks like a racetrack. Those just must have been, or at least the original one we found, independently owned by a farmer. And again, this one actually held races here. I just happened to have read the right thing the other night and went, oh, that's what they are. Sometimes you start looking around Google Earth images and you can actually see these shapes kind of not all over the place, but you do see them. You can tell by the way from above the trees have grown in differently that there's a shape. It is quite beautiful and flat out here. Yeah, we're already making the arc back around. This one supposedly had barns and outbuildings for the activities, which may be impossible to spot anything, because as you look around, there's no rocks at all. Well, I'm coming into the other side, the other turn. Nothing has stood out. Imagine that, about 130 years ago, down here, all clear, wide open. It said it would draw hundreds of people during an event, so there would have been people all over the place. Buildings somewhere. Crazy how it just all gets eaten up by the forest. And now that I make my way back around, I can judge the size. We'll find the middle and go in there. So this being a ½ mile circle, my guess is the ones out at the farms are probably like ½ mile. Definitely smaller, but very similar. Bet you there's a few horseshoes out here. Well, the only thing I do notice is it's definitely been logged in the meantime somewhere, some time between then and now. Who knows what else has gone on out here through the years. Well, this is the middle of it. Back on track. Let's go. a quart bottle. Maybe. Not much of it to be able to see. Actually, that might be from the era. 1890s, would have been blown into a mold still. This is kind of what I was looking for. Anything off of the circle that had a bit of change in the ground, indentations. So we're at the top end where I started, off to the side. Glass. Well, this was the only section I could see any type of activity in the ground. There's actually a set of ruts heading that way, kind of in the direction I need to head out. So I'm going to head out, but you know, not a whole lot to look at, but definitely a whole lot to think about. Back in the 1890s, this was the place to be to come see the race action, with lots of people hanging around, having fun. And with the time passed, this is what we have. Still a good thing. I'll see you next time.